Hello and welcome to Raw Sports Takes with Miguel Sanchez, your host Miguel Sanchez. First of all, in this episode, we're gonna go ahead and talk about the Week 2 NFL lineups. Pretty much what happened this week. Pretty much knee-jerk reactions, overreactions, underreactions, whatever you want to call it. But other than that, first I got an announcement to do, and it's I'm gonna change the name of this podcast. It's not gonna be Raw Sports anymore. Apparently, when you go Google it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, a lot of wrestling stuff comes on, which I love wrestling, but it's not something that I'm looking at. So I'm gonna change it. Haven't just thought about the name quite exactly what I want to change it to, but one that I really kind of like, and I've been playing around with it and asking people about it. It's Unsportsmanlike Conduct. On filter takes. I think I like that name, and I think I'm gonna go with that name. So look for that. I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna give you a heads up. It's probably gonna be changed in the next week. Hopefully before Friday's podcast. That's gonna be the new podcast. It's gonna be Friday. But other than that, that's about it. I'm gonna quick before I start with the NFL and what happened this week. First thing I'm gonna start with the Canelo fight. I didn't watch the Canelo fight personally. I just so freaking tired of Canelo fighting no-name players pretty much. It's a bunch of bullshit. He's doing exactly what Mayweather did, and it's avoiding the big-time players. And he's taking either on rookies that don't have experience and they're just green as can be, and he know he's gonna win, or he's dodging until he fights Benavides, aka the Mexican Monster. I could give two shits what the hell Canelo does. Actually, I kind of want him to get his ass knocked out just so he gets tired of that shit. I know he likes to talk a lot of shit and say that he will fight anybody. Well, you're fucking full of shit. You're plain full of shit, Canelo. Fight somebody that actually wants to fight you and that people want to see. People want to see you fight Benavides. I seen some of Benavides' fights. He does look not that technical fighter like Canelo. Doesn't have the experience, I think. I think he'll make a good fight, though, because styles make fights. And I think he'll do really well. I think Canelo could knock him out and could beat him. But it just doesn't look good when Canelo keeps dodging these fights. I am really getting tired of him dodging these fights. It's unfortunate, and it's a bunch of bullshit at the same time. And I think Canelo should stop doing it. Like, come on, Canelo. If you're listening to this, if I have to say it in Spanish, I'll say it in Spanish. Stop being a little bitch and fight Benavides. Other than that, that's about it on that. I saw some of the MMA fights. I wasn't too much entertained. Sean O'Malley lost the belt there in decision. Yeah, I guess he's not the darling. That's what's interesting about MMA. MMA players, pretty much fighters, they have an expiration date. They don't last that long. Like, you have a good fighter, they'll win a couple of belts, and then all of a sudden they'll lose or get either knocked out, or they get broken, or they break their legs, and that's it. And then you never hear from them ever again. You hear them once in a while in a cold main card, but other than that, it's amazing how fast their expiration date compared to like boxing. Boxing, Canelo's been fighting, has been the champion for the last 5 years. But then when you go to MMA fights, it's like the guy middleweight is a champion in 1 year, and then the next year he loses, and then you never hear from them again. And then the guy that beat him ends up winning, and he wins for 2 fights, and then you never hear from them again. It's amazing how fast MMA fighters have an expiration date and they end up losing right away. So that's some thoughts there in MMA and some thoughts of the Canelo fights. Other than that, this weekend, big thing is the Dolphins versus Bills, which that was a Thursday night game. It was a really good game in a sense if you're a Bills fan. They ran the ball really well. They didn't ask Josh Allen too much to do there, and he played very well and didn't have to do, like I said, too much, run around too much. And he did end up winning big. The biggest takeaway from that game is just Tua. If you are a fan of Tua, and when I mean a fan, I mean somebody that likes watching him play, or the biggest thing with Tua at the beginning of last year, and everybody asked, and everybody was saying the same thing: can Tua play well? Can he stay out of in the injury list? Because he avoid the concussions the year prior to that, and then because he throw the ball? Can he throw the ball long enough? That is the question. Is if he has the arm strength, which he didn't. All those question marks came back again. Those questions came again on this game. He just completely sucked. There were some really bad interceptions. That first one, he pretty much he threw it behind the receiver. That's why I hit him in the shoulder pads and he ricocheted. They were getting interception. And then the second one was just terrible. It was a terrible throw. Overthrew it. Cannot throw it with accuracy. And then it got intercepted real easily. I don't know if that's miscommunication between the receiver and the quarterback, but it just looked terrible. And that was about. And then Of course, he got injured, which if you ever watch Tua, and nobody watches football, and you were to watch Tua, and the way, not last year, but the year before that, the way he lands, like he had to learn how to fall. That was kind of weird, like a toddler. Uh, it was weird to watch, and that injury and where he ran there in the fourth and goal, he got the first down. He pretty much ran into the defender's bicep, it looked like, and then he landed awkwardly and hit his head, and that was it. And then I knew that was a concussion just because of his history and just because of the way it goes. I said last year before the beginning of the season, and last year in the off season, I said that Tua should retire, and I think should be playing anymore. And then I'm gonna go back to that. If you're a Tua fan, if you are a family member, and you're really talking to him, you gotta sit him down. You gotta sit him down and tell him, hey Tua, you made a lot of money. You're guaranteed anything between $100 million to $167 million if you retire right now. You don't have anything to prove. You're going to make 99% more money than anybody in the country right now can think of making. And that's it. Just go ahead and retire. Go enjoy the rest of your life. Last thing you want to do is you want to end up like Junior Seau and shoot yourself in the chest because you got so much damn head injuries. Or, of course, they're blaming Aaron Hernandez on the CTE, and that's why he was a nut. But that's another story. Aaron Hernandez was CTE did not make him a nut. He was already a nut as it is, and a criminal. But he needs to retire. He has enough money. His family really needs to sit down with him. And as we learned a few days ago, he's going to be on the injury reserve, be out for 4 weeks at least, which that's good. I think he should take that time and evaluate really his life and just think about it. Do I want to have concussions? Do I want to have dementia at the age of 55? Or do I want to live a pretty prosperous life, maybe see my children grow up, and maybe not forget about them in the next 20 years? That's it with the Tua. I think he should retire. And it sucks because if you're a football fan, you kind of want to see the Dolphins. Dolphins are really fun to watch and really, because they got a lot of speedsters and everything. But at the same time, you also want the health of the player and you want the well-being of the family. And the Tua needs to retire. I'm going to repeat it. I know I repeated it like 2-3 times, but come on, Tua. It's enough. It's enough. You got wait. We don't even know how many damn concussions you actually have. It's recorded that you had like 3 or 4, but in reality, you might even have more. And it's for you to and if you just do this out of play, please wear that stupid Guardian helmet. I know it looks stupid. It looks retarded. It looks like you're a Spaceballs kind of guy player, but at the same time, if it does help you prevent concussions, you should wear that. I've seen a few players wear that out there in the NFL this year, the little Guardian helmet. If you don't know what the Guardian helmet is, it's pretty much just a cover, like it's like bubble wrap on top of a regular helmet, and it's supposed to help with concussions and head injuries. So I would do that if I was him. But those are my thoughts on the Dolphins versus Bills. Bills look really good. Bills are actually doing extraordinary well. Their defense is playing great, and Josh Allen is playing at an MVP level. It will not shock me right now if you were to give out the MVP trophy. It probably goes to Josh Allen. Moving on, we're going to move on to some of the biggest disappointments and biggest surprises of this week. Cowboys. It's a Cowboys fan. Suck again. Again, they reel you in at the beginning of the season. They play a great game. They're prepared. They beat the crap out of the Browns. You think you're... I know you guys Cowboy fans see it. There's that meme on TV. This is our year. We get a good win. And it just eventually circles into a disappointment. Well, this time it was week 2. I don't know if it's a repeat season like last year where they lost to the Cardinals there. They got their ass whooped by the Cardinals, and everybody was kind of shocked. And then they turned around and started playing well. Who the hell knows? I don't know if it was a lack of effort there in the Cowboys or just a lack of talent. Like, if really talent's not there anymore, or it's a lack of effort. If it's a lack of effort, either one is really bad. If it's a lack of effort, that comes down to coaching, which Mike McCarthy, as we know, probably the worst Super Bowl winning Super Bowl winning coach. He did have Aaron Rodgers in his prime. He did have a top 5 defense when they won that Super Bowl against the Steelers. And I think he just reaped the winnings there. And the more I look at it, the more he is terrible. He's terrible at clock management. He did not have the team prepared for this. Mike Zimmer, I think, is even a bigger disappointment. I expected him on McCarthy, but Mike Zimmer should know better. He's been in the league for, 20 years as defensive coordinator, and you couldn't stop the damn run. You couldn't stop Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara looked like 2018 Alvin Kamara, just getting in the corner there and running in for a touchdown. 4 touchdowns? You got to be kidding me. And this agent, And this time in age, you should not having a running back with that many touchdowns. And Derek Carr looked like Drew Brees out there. 12 completions, and he had like 160 something yards at the beginning of the first quarter, first half, 35 points. I be honest with you, I turned it off after the first half because that was just stupid to watch. It was a super disappointment. It should have been the opposite. Cowboys should be whooping the crap out of the Saints. But then it's the beginning of the season. We don't know what the hell the Saints are. I want to say they're good, but at the same time, I don't know. Maybe the Cowboys are bad. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe the Cowboys are just that terrible of a team. They can't do shit. And when they come actually play a decent team, they shit the bed like they do every single year. But the Saints have played, the Panthers at home, beat the crap out of them, beat the crap out of the Cowboys. But we'll find out as the season goes on and see exactly who the Saints are. But right now, as it stands, the NFC South is looking really good. I mean, you got the 1-1 Atlanta Falcons, 2-0 Saints, 2-0 Tampa Bay. That's another one. That's another surprise team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going to move on. But those are my thoughts on the Saints and the Cowboys game. It was terrible. Jerry Jones, you're a terrible owner. At one point, he should see the writing on the wall and say, and the reason I say he's a terrible owner is because he refuses to fire himself as GM. You are the shittiest GM out in the NFL. My toddler could probably do better, be a better GM than you are. It is incredible to me how many bonehead moves you make, how stupid it looks. And don't give me this bullshit that you draft well. That is not you who's drafting well. That's Will McClain and his staff identifying players and drafting them. Because if it was up to you, we fucking still have Johnny Manziel and, I don't know, probably be terrible right now. Probably even could win 5 wins. Terrible GM, terrible everything. Another big surprise this week was the Ravens. Ravens are 0-2, and they're going to play the Cowboys next, which it's going to be a must-win for both teams. It has to be. You cannot, as the Ravens, you cannot fall to 0-3, and the Cowboys, you cannot fall to 1-2. But this is, as I say, the Ravens look lackluster. Lamar Jackson looks like he's missing a receiver. Like, he really is. He's missing that receiver, that go-to receiver he can go and he can throw the ball to when he needs it. I don't know if they still have I guess you could say, an identity crisis. Like, is it Lamar's team? You got Derrick Henry. Are you going to actually run the ball with Derrick Henry? Or Derrick Henry's a luxury? I thought last year they were missing that go-to running back where they needed to run the game out and not lose. And now it seems like they still forget they have Derrick Henry. I don't know what's going on there. Eventually, I think Harbaugh gets it together. He's a good coach. He's been a really good coach for many years. And he'll get it together and he'll get that team going. Raiders, on the other hand, Tony Pierce, actually, he's learning on the fly as a coach. And I think if he keeps it up, he's going to be a good head coach. He seems to not put up with shit and really get it going. But that's a surprising. Ravens 0-2. They might go 0-3 with the Cowboys, or the Cowboys will go 0-3. So that's going to be an interesting week coming up this Sunday and see what happens there as far as that goes. The other surprising team was the Tampa Bay 2-0. They beat the Lions. A lot of people picking the Lions to go to the Super Bowl. I personally picked them to go to the Super Bowl too, but they beat the Lions and they avenged their playoff loss, and they're looking really good. Baker Mayfield is looking extraordinary. He's looking like Baker Mayfield from Oklahoma and not Baker Mayfield from Texas Tech. He's looking great. Jared Goff, I just can't trust them. That's the only reason I don't think the Lions could win a Super Bowl. I just do not trust Jared Goff. Jeff Cross was 9 out of 17 under pressure and threw an interception. And for that reason, I can never trust Jared Goff. And I've never been a fan of Jared Goff. And ever since he lost that Super Bowl with the Rams, I think Sean McVay hit a lot of bad tendencies of his. And then when he left, that's why they traded for Matthew Stafford. And that's why Matthew Stafford won a Super Bowl. It's plain and simple. Aiden Hutchinson might be the defensive player of the year. He's leading the NFL with 4.5 sacks. So he keeps up at this pace, he will have over 30 sacks. I think he slows down eventually because nobody can keep up with that pace. But other than that, that was the only bright spot for the Lions there. On Tampa Bay, their defense is playing great. Todd Bowles has always played a really good defense and coached a good defense, so they should be okay. This is going to be an interesting. Is Tampa Bay more real, or is it the Saints more real on this one? Who knows? Time will tell. It's like I said, it's very early in the season. Another surprise in talking about defense is Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings. He did a number on Purdy. Got him to throw an interception there. I know they're missing the running back, uh, Christian McCaffrey, and Debo Samuel's hurt again. But still, that was an incredible job by Brian Flores. I think Brian Flores is getting better and better, and I think eventually, hopefully, they don't blackball him as a head coach at one point. Eventually, he gets a head coaching job, but he's doing a great job. Kevin O'Connell, I gotta admit, the coach of the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, he's done a great job there. I mean, to make Sam Darnold look like the actual first round pick that the Jets not traded for, drafted a while back, he's actually looking tremendously good. It's amazing to me how good Sam Darnold looks. But we always knew that potential was always there. It's just he made always bonehead mistakes every single damn time, and now he's looking good again. So Minnesota was like I said, very shocking, very surprised. But then again, I saw a stat the other day. It says that San Francisco 49ers, apparently that's their Achilles. San Francisco 49ers, the Minnesota Vikings, have not been in Minnesota since 1992. Let that sink in. Since 1992, the San Francisco 49ers have not been the Minnesota Vikings. That is crazy to think about. Last year they lost too. Last year they lost to a backup. They didn't even lose to Kirk Cousins. They lost to a backup last year also, when they had that 4-game losing streak there for a while. They're the 49ers. But the 49ers eventually get it together. I think it was just a tumultuous offseason. Ayuk wanted his money. Pretty much McCaffrey's that's lingering, that calf injury. Hopefully it's just like he comes back and it's just a calf injury. The worst thing you want to do is when anybody thinks calves injuries, they always think, oh shit, Achilles. You always wonder if the Achilles is going to do something there, if they're going to tear. But hopefully they're doing a great job with it. So that's the other surprising team, Minnesota Vikings, 2-0. Who would have thought? NFC North being led by the 2-0 Vikings there. Quick thoughts on the Jets and Titans game. Titans lost another one. They lost the game, really. They were leading, I believe, by 7 points, and they were going to drive it, and they were like at the red zone, and then Will Levis decided to do Will Levis shit, I guess. I don't know what the hell he was thinking. He was running, he was getting tackled, so he dove and threw the ball backwards, and it was fumble, and the Jets recover, and all the momentum went to the Jets, and the Jets ended up winning the game. I don't know what the hell I was looking at with Will Levis. I don't know if at what point do you bench him? That's my question. He made a bonehead move the previous week against the Bears where he just threw it up there and the intercepted, and it was a pick six. And now he did another bonehead move. At one time, does the coach say, enough is your bullshit, sit that fuck down, learn, and then you can go back in the game. Like, enough is enough. What are you trying to do there? Save 2 yards? It's not like you were throwing in the end zone and making an incredible throw. It's not like you were running and trying to spin away from a defender. No, you did like the dumbest move ever. You look like a high school quarterback trying to make something out of nothing, and that just doesn't work in the NFL. I have no idea what's up with Will Levis. And the sad part about it is that sometimes when he plays well, you see it there. You see the potential. You see why he was taken in the draft so high. And then you see that shit, and you're thinking another 0-2 team, Daniel Jones. You're thinking another, like, what is going on here? And that's what I was thinking on watching the game. Like, what the hell was that? Did I just watch a professional quarterback do a bonehead move 2 weeks in a row? Like, if they had an award for dumbass plays, you'd be top week 1 and week 2. Aaron Rodgers looked decent. He still can sling the ball and can still throw it. My concerns for the Jets is going to be that defense. That defense, again, got pretty much run through. Teams are going to mimic that, like I said, from week 1. They're going to start running the ball. I don't know what's going on with the Jets defense. I don't know if maybe Robert Saleh doesn't know how to coach and make coaching adjustments in the game. And he just goes with whatever he's there and whatever he planned for. And he says, fuck it. This works. I'm going to keep working. But it was good to see the Jets win a game. And it was more of, I think, Tennessee losing the game than the Jets winning. So, but I would have loved for Aaron Rodgers to lose again, just to see him lose his shit. Maybe he goes back into a cave and never comes back. But who knows? It's for Jets fans, I guess, it's good. For entertainment purposes, it's not good. If you hear me that, I'm drinking a Monster. Just got off of work yesterday, so trying to get some energy, trying to get going this. Another game that was kind of boring. Oh, well, not boring. It was kind of actually pretty decently. It was Seattle Seahawks versus New England. That was a big win into overtime. It was pretty good. It looks like New England are not going to be a bottom five team. It looks like New England is there to battle and is there to play the games, and they're 1-1 now, so it's not terrible. They're not going to be a terrible team. But at what point do you really ask yourself, if you're a New England fan, at what point are you going to start Drake May? Is it going to be after the bye week when he gets more time? But eventually, I think Drake May has to play. Maybe not sit the whole year out, especially the way they're playing. They're actually holding the line pretty well, and they're actually being competitive. So it'll be interesting to see if Drake May does come into the game. I would like to see. I think he has the best freaking quarterback name, Drake May. That just sounds good. It rolls off the tongue very well. You can tell it 3 times, Drake May, Drake May, Drake May. I don't know, but it sounds really good, and I would like to see him. I just like to see what he has out there, because everybody wants to see. Washington Commanders, New York Giants. Those are two bad teams. I don't care who won that game. Other than that, New York looked terrible again, and we're looking at probably the Giants drafting a quarterback next year or the year afterwards. You better hope it's Texas Arch Manning, which that would be ironic because you had Eli Manning there, and now you have his nephew. So that would be pretty for Cowboy fans. Hopes I hope not. I hope they're not ever draft. I hope they draft another bust like Daniel Jones and think that he's gonna be decently. But at what point did you sit down Daniel Jones and you actually start Danny DeVito's little cousin, DeVito, and the quarterback? That'd be nice to see him as a quarterback. Just mix headliners, and I guess we can make Italian jokes out of it. I am married to an Italian, so technically I can make Italian jokes. Okay, and it should not be offensive to anybody. And if you are offended with what I say, I'm sorry ahead of time. I do say some offensive stuff here and there, but I'm not here for your feelings, I guess you can say. Chicago Bears, Houston Texans game. That's another game that was kind of. Houston Texans should have beat the shit out of the Bears. Let's put it that way. They should have beat the living snot out of the Bears, and it just blew my mind. And they barely beat them. Technically, it should have been a bigger loss than that, 19-13. C.J. Stroud looked decently. Look a lot better than Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, unfortunately, his O-line doesn't want to block for him, or they don't know how to block. Well, that goes into more of a. I think the head coach should have got fired last year for the Bears. I think he's not a good coach. I think they'd be looking at Ben Johnson, probably the offensive coordinator for the Lions. He's really good, and I think he should get the head coaching their job with the Bears. And now, if I was the Bears and I was a Bears fan, I was the Bears general manager. He's done a great job. Paul has done a great job there as a general manager. You should go out there and you should try to get Ben Johnson out of the Lions and get him coach, so you could coach up Caleb Williams. Because they weren't doing nothing really special per se, the Texans. If you watch the game, they were just blitzing an extra player, and it seemed like either the Bears, they don't care for blocking, or they just don't know how to block. Because it was a weird. They just blitz a guy, and the guy got open. And it's like you had 5 defenders, and they had 5 offensive linemen, and they have 6 defenders, and the numbers just don't match. So you're going to have a free blitzer in there somewhere, but instead of scheming for it, they just whatever, fuck it. They thought Caleb Williams could produce miracles, which on that one interception that I see, it was actually more of an incredible escape from Caleb Williams than it actually was a good interception. That escape, when he got away from them, that was amazing. That was just an amazing escape. His shirt was getting torn up, and he was still able to throw it. He threw it, of course, threw a terrible throw, and it got intercepted. But he did a pretty great escape there. But I still have hopes for Caleb Williams, and I think game recognized game. C.J. Stroud said it, and he's going to be a good quarterback, I believe. C.J. Stroud gave him those encouraging words there at the end of the game. And Caleb Williams just got to stop taking sacks, and he really got to stop taking unnecessary hits. And he'll do good. Other than that, but I said, Texans should have done a lot better. She should have looked better. Now, I am gonna go and talk about the last game that I saw, and that last game I saw was Eagles versus Falcons, and a lot of people think that the Eagles should have gone for it there on 3rd and 2. They should have ran the ball, and then they should have gone even if they didn't get it done the tush push, and then ended the game. Um, I I, I think hindsight's 2020 on that one. I think a lot of people, if it worked, if that pass would have worked actually, and I don't know if you guys remember, but pretty much Hurts was 32. Hurts snapped it, threw a little out route there to Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley hit his hands like if they're made out of stone, and he dropped it. But if he would have caught that one and made the first down, everybody would have been raving about what a great play call. They thought they were going to run the ball. They thought they were going to do this. And they had everybody ready to stop the run, and they instead threw the ball there. Saquon Barkley caught it. Probably runs it for a touchdown, honestly, if he catches the ball. He had enough space to, and then people would have been like, what a gutsy call. What an amazing play calling. But since it didn't work, we get to actually say the opposite. Oh, they should have ran the ball. It's obvious, blah, blah, blah. And you know what? I don't think so. I think they made the right call. I think they made the right play. And I think, like I said, if it would have worked, people would have been raving and pretty much on the Eagles' nuts the whole damn time of what a great play call that was. But since it didn't work, people are doing the opposite and saying it was a terrible call. And to be honest, let's be real. Kirk Cousins, really? Have you seen his primetime record in primetime games? That guy fucking sucks. He's like Dak Prescott in the playoffs. Just eats dick and just cannot win the game. So you're telling me, if you were to tell me, if I'm an Eagles fan and you, or just a general football fan, and you tell me, oh yeah, Kirk Cousins is going to drive it 70 yards in a minute and a half and score a touchdown and win the game. Oh, and by the way, they have only scored 15 points the last 3 quarters. And I'll take my chances on that one. Kirk Cousins is going to choke. There's no way, with no timeouts, a minute 05, score a touchdown when you only have scored 15 points the whole game. And let's not forget, Kirk Cousins just came out of an injury. And the last game we watched against Pittsburgh, he couldn't freaking throw the ball. And he couldn't move at all. And all of a sudden you think that Kirk Cousins is going to turn it up? Like, come on. If whoever thought, like I say, hindsight 2020, whoever thought that was going to happen, then you should go play the lottery. Or you should do... Or something, go play some crabs or something, because you're full shit. You are full shit, and I think and if you really thought Kirk Cousins was going to do that, like I said again, you are full shit. Record shows he cannot do it. He's a choker. And it would not shock me this year if he gets benched and Penix actually starts for the Falcons. It was just, I think it was more of a choke job for the Eagles defense than it was actually Kirk Cousins producing a miracle. So that's my thoughts on that game. Now I'm going to move to another segment. I like to call this segment Top 5 Quarterbacks of Week 2, or through Week 2 actually, and Top Bottom Quarterbacks. And it's pretty much giving praise or talking shit. That's really what that is. Top 5. If I had to pick top 5 quarterbacks through Week 2, first one's going to be, it could be 1, 2, or 3. You can change it up if you want. 1, 2, and 3, the first 3 names I'm going to say. And it's going to be Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Derek Carr. You can put Derek Carr on number 1 or whatever you want to do, but those 3 players are just playing out of the damn mind. And I don't know what's up with Derek Carr. I don't know if it's the new offensive coordinator, and all of a sudden his 8th or 9th season, all of a sudden it just clicked because he has a good offensive coordinator and that's what he needed. Or he just, I don't know, maybe Drew Brees took over his body a little bit there and just throwing it better. Who knows? But we're going to see. Sam Darnold, that's another one. Like I said, we saw the potential earlier, but now all of a sudden he's actually hitting the potential, and maybe it took Kevin O'Connell to unlock it. And then the last one, Baker Mayfield. Like I say, is Baker Mayfield from Oklahoma, not Baker Mayfield from Texas Tech, where he had to transfer out because he sucked at Texas Tech. And then the fourth one is Josh Allen. Josh Allen, I'll put him in number 4 right now. He's an MVP level, and we've seen him before with Josh Allen, so that's why Josh Allen. I don't have no doubts like the other 3. Then there's Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray played an incredible game. Yes, the Rams are hurt. Yes, the Rams are just struggling right now with injuries. They just got the injury bug. And that sucks because we don't get to watch full potential Cooper Kupp and Puka together. But still, Kyler Murray, if you watch those incredible throws he threw there, pretty damn well. Which brings me to Marvin Harrison Jr. Whoever thought he was a bust after week 1, you are damn nuts. You are a crackhead completely. And thank God then Marvin Harrison will actually show you why he was the first receiver ever picked this past draft. He is good, and he played great this game. He ran that one, the first touchdown catch he caught there at the end of the end zone. Wow, that was his daddy all over again. The tippy toes, everything, the catch. That looked beautiful. So good job for Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison. And I'm pretty sure Kyler Murray's super happy. He has a wide receiver for once. Well, we had Hawkins, but Hawkins was more towards the end of his prime. Now he gets a really good receiver he can work with. Those are my top 5 quarterbacks. They look good. Looking in, I guess you could put Patrick Mahomes looking in the top 5. But right now, he's not playing any better than these 5 quarterbacks. Plain and simple. Bottom 5 quarterbacks, that's pretty easy. It's pretty going to be the young guys. Unless your name is Daniel Jones and Trevor Lawrence. Bryce Young. You could put Bryce Young as the worst quarterback right now. It looks like his confidence is just shot. And if I saw the stats correctly, he was only pressure on 4 of his dropbacks. So he has time and he's able to throw it, but he just doesn't have the confidence to throw the ball and holds on too much, pump fakes and gets sacked pretty much, or just throws a terrible throw. But Bryce Young, and I said at the beginning of the season, I think he gets benched, and it only took 2 weeks actually. And he's benched now, and everybody's shocked. But I don't know if that's more of I'm in desperate mode. The coach is in desperate mode and wants to win and try to figure out something else. Or maybe it's just to get Bryce Young fired up and pissed off, and maybe he comes out and plays better. Because he has, like I said, as far as a pure quarterback, Bryce Young has the arm, has the potential and everything. It's just unfortunate he's small. Like Kyler Murray, he's also small, but Kyler Murray has a little bit thicker body, as per se, lower body. And he's a lot more explosive when it comes to running. But he did get injured last year also. So take that with a grain of salt. Bryce Young, I don't know if he puts on a little bit more weight or just gets smarter. Just throws the ball better. But again, I think he's a great quarterback if we're playing flag football. But we're not playing flag football. That's why maybe this is a good thing to get benched. Maybe getting some weight. Maybe learns a little bit with holding the clipboard. Maybe fires him up and maybe he does better. But he's probably the second worst quarterback. Will Levis has to be the worst quarterback. He just makes bonehead moves. Like I said earlier, the Titans should be 2-0. There's no way in hell if Mike Grable was coaching, which I think is a mistake by letting him go. If Mike Grable was coaching the Titans, I think they're at least 1-1, maybe even 2-0. But that was terrible. Well, Daniel Jones. I can't say no more about Daniel Jones. Or at least I can't say anything good. That guy just sucks. What can you do? For number 4 worst quarterback, bottom 5, I would say Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, for everything I just said earlier, they just couldn't block, and he was trying too hard. And I think it's at the point, and I think that's more of a coaching. And with this, we were talking to our buddy earlier, and he did say, hey, if anybody's gonna ruin Caleb Williams, it's probably the Bears. The Bears somehow, some way, find a way to ruin quarterbacks. Trubisky was another one. I don't think he should have got drafted that high, but he was ruined. They didn't take Patrick Mahomes in that other draft. That was the same draft that they didn't take Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson. But what can you say? Caleb Williams hopefully has the potential, has the talent to overcome all the necessary, curse. I guess Chicago's curse on that one, but who knows? 5th quarterback. This one I'm really disappointed in. Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence at one point looked like he was going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback when he was playing in college there with Clemson. Won that national title. Did he win? Yeah, I believe he did win the national title. And then the next year brought him to the playoffs again, and then he lost against, I think it might have been Justin Fields, actually. I think it might have been Justin Fields in that game, Ohio State. But I don't know what happened. First year came out, he played like a rookie quarterback should play. Terrible. I don't think any rookie, unless your name was C.J. Stroud, which he put up incredible numbers last year as a rookie, you're not going to play well. You got to remember, I believe Peyton Manning, when he came out as a rookie, had either 18 or 22 interceptions. I know he holds the record still for most interceptions in the rookie season, but then he became a Hall of Famer, won 2-time Super Bowl. But Trevor Lawrence, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if it's the coaching there, but he overthrew a lot of passes. He has weapons there. It's not like he's playing for the Panthers. I guess that's an excuse you can make for Bryce Young, but he's just been super disappointing last year, and this year he's starting off again really disappointing. And he has all the talent in the world. He has the arm strength. He's able to run, but it's just not there. That's why I'm kind of disappointed in him being bottom five. But let's be real, bottom five, that's where he belongs. That's where the Jacksonville Jaguars are 0-2. If they had any kind of decent quarterback play, they'd probably be 2-0. But they don't. We're not. And looking in bottom, also their quarterbacks, I will put Dak Prescott. For the simple reason Dak Prescott is getting paid $250 million. And if you're a $250 million quarterback, I expect you to be top five. You'll be elite, but you're not even sniffing that. You play below average according to PFF grades, and you play average the first week, and then the second week you put below average. You don't pay a quarterback $250 million to play below average or average. You got to play elite, and you're not even close to being elite. So that's my bottom five. I'm gonna move on to my top five teams right now after week 2, and my bottom five teams. Again, I'm drinking a Monster. Great drink, by the way. Monster Zeros. I know they say they're terrible for you, but whatever. Top five teams. Number one has to be the Chiefs still. They're 2-0. They're undefeated. They're the defending champions. They're playing great defense again. The only thing disappointment there is Travis Kelce. I think I saw more Taylor Swift in the game than I saw Travis Kelce make plays. But I don't know if Travis Kelce is just cruising and just waiting for the playoffs to start. It seems to be his MO last year, and it looks like it's going to be his MO this year again. He's just playing. It's like having a really nice car, and it's not your everyday driver. You only take it when it's a nice day outside, and it seems like that's what Travis Kelce is at this point. Excuse me. But the Chiefs is number one. Number two, I would put the Bills at number two, just for the way Josh Allen is playing, and they're 2-0, and it looks like they're on a collision course with the Chiefs there for the AFC Championship at this point. They'll be number two. They have a great running game, defense playing well. Josh Allen doesn't have to do too much, and then when he does, he gets it done. Number three would be the Texans. All the talent in the world there. Should be in the AFC Championship. CJ Stroud is playing well again. He hasn't regressed. It's going to be interesting to see what happens to Joe Mixon there with that injury. How long he's going to be out, but still, they have a lot of talent. They could overcome that easily. Number three, that was number three. Number four, I will put probably the Minnesota Vikings. No, actually, I would put the Buccaneers number four. Buccaneers would be number four on my list. They're a surprise team. We'll see what happens. We'll see if Baker Mayfield actually falls from grace and actually plays like crap again, and reminds us everybody why he sucked. Number five, Minnesota Vikings, same thing, same concept, same kind of quarterback play, same it's Sam Darnold, pretty much messing with us and playing great, and all of a sudden he's gonna fall. So we're waiting for that. I'm actually waiting the same thing for the Buccaneers and Minnesota Vikings, same thing to happen. Looking in, I will put the Saints at number 6 or number 7, same thing, and Seahawks. Same thing. I have the same questions for the Saints that I do for Buccaneers and Minnesota. What's happening? Who's going to be real? Who's a pretender? Seahawks, pretty much. Let's be straight. Seahawks. Geno Smith plays very well, and he has a pretty decent game again, and makes it happen, and he wins the game. So Seahawks will be in there, and that's going to be my top 5. My bottom 5. That's a real easy one. Panthers are still terrible, so they're going to be the worst team. They're going to pick number 1 overall. On the bright side, Panthers, you get to pick your first overall pick. So this time, not the Chicago Bears. On the downside, though, I believe the I believe the Bears do own your second round pick. So if you are the worst team, you practically gave the Bears 2 first round picks again, because they're going to be picking 33. They're in the second round, so they should be able to pick up some talent. So that sucks even more still. The Giants will be number 2, worst team in the NFL. I can't say anything good about them. It's actually nothing going good for them. Terrible uniforms left week 1. Terrible game week 2. I don't know. Sorry, Giants fans. Actually, not sorry. I hate you guys. Number 3, Tennessee Titans. Will Levis. I know I already shit on Will Levis quite a bit, but it's Will Levis. Number 4, Broncos. Sean Payne. I think you're wrong about Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix sucks. There's a reason nobody was high on Bo Nix except you. I think you were just trying to hype yourself up to liking Bo Nix. But I would put Broncos number 4. Number 5, I would say the Dolphins. That's going to be a surprise for most people because a lot of people picked them for the NFC East, AFC East winners, division winners. I picked them for the AFC winners because of the explosion on offense. But it's with Tua being out for 4 to 5 weeks, it seems like. He's at least 4 weeks because of the concussion. Skylar Thompson, he's always been a backup quarterback his whole career. I don't think he could throw the ball long. He's more of a runner than he is a thrower. So that's going to be interesting to watch. And I think the Dolphins implode. I think McDaniels is a hell of an offensive coordinator, and he could do a lot of offensive stuff. But I don't think he's a good head coach. I just don't see him motivating him. It's like a freaking little nerd kid. No offense to nerds. Nerds are great, by the way, when they stick to what they know. But it seems like he's just a nerd, a computer nerd that comes out trying to motivate the team. Like, hey, guys, let's run. And that's not going to motivate anybody. And then the way he runs, trying to be cute. You're not cute, McDaniels. And I think once you start losing, I think the team's going to lose respect for you. And I think he's going to get fired. I really seriously do. I think he's going to get fired, especially if that. But if he doesn't get fired, they'll have the built-in excuses of, well, Tua got hurt. He couldn't make it with Tua. There's probably going to be the excuses there. But that's the bottom 5 team for me. The Dolphins. I'm sorry, Dolphins fans, but it is what it is. Man, next week, of course, this list always, just like the top 5 quarterback list and the bottom 5 quarterback list, this list always changes every week to week. One thing, 2 teams that are going to stay there forever, I don't think they're going to turn it around, is the Panthers and Giants. I don't think that just gets turned around. I think they just suck. Last thing I want to talk about, I do want to talk about Bengals versus Chiefs game. That was a hell of a game. I love that game. It goes to show you why everybody's a big believer of Joe Burrow. Burrowhead, as they call that stadium. The Bengals talked a lot of shit, and they almost had it. They almost won the game and got called on a penalty there on 4-16, which I get it. It was a penalty. I just hated that they threw the flag so damn late. Like if it was like the ref was like, it's pass interference, but I think it's pass interference, but I'm gonna hold it here, and then you realize it was 4th and 16, and the game was gonna be over. Like, oh fuck, it's 4th and 16. Never mind. Let me throw the flag after all. I think it was a little bit late there. And Joe Burrow also thought it was late. He was about to freaking destroy that bench there. But he played a decent game, and the defense played great again. And I think the reason Bengals lost also, besides a late flag, it was a deserving flag. Let's put it that way. It was a deserving flag. It wasn't like I said, it was pass interference. I just think it was so late that's what makes people so angry about it. Like, oh, game's over. Oh, no, it's not over. I threw a flag because I forgot it was 4th and 16. That's where the people get more mad about than anything else. That's where I was pissed about it. But besides the point, I'm going to say this about the Bengals coordinator, which did a great job. If you watch that, if you have not seen that interception where Patrick Mahomes threw that interception, where the guy catches it, go watch it. He caught it one-handedly. That was a beautiful interception. It's probably one of the most incredible interceptions you see. Cam Taylor-Britt, I have no idea who he is, but I know now because he fucking had a hell of an interception there. Other than that, the defense played very well, but I think they screwed it up there on 4th and 16. 4th and 16, why? Did you forget you were playing Patrick Mahomes? Like, you just had a brain fart there, and you're like, well, fuck it, we're only going to rush 3. We'll give Patrick Mahomes the whole time in the world just to throw the ball on a 4th and 16. I know it's long. I know it's 4th and 16. It's a long to convert, but when you have that much time in the pocket, and especially if your name is Patrick Mahomes, the defenders can't be holding the receivers on lockdown for that long. Eventually, they're going to hold, or eventually they're going to have pass interference, and that's exactly what happened. I think that was a bonehead move there at the end. They got too cute. They decided, hey, maybe we're going to confuse Patrick Mahomes and we're going to only rush 3. Let's be real. Chiefs do not have a really big threat as receiver. Now that we learned that Hollywood Brown's also going to be out for the season, he's not going to play anymore. They don't have a big threat. Rice plays very good, and he's a very complimentary player, but he is not a threat as a receiver. He does not scare anybody. Nobody's game planning for Rice. Nobody's game planning for Worthy. Or they have to stop Worthy as a receiver. I said it before at the beginning of the season, that kid has no hands. He catches half the balls that's thrown his way, and so he's really not a threat. So why the hell would you still only rush 3? And I think that's where like I said, that's where the coach fucked it up, the defensive coordinator. But I will give him props. He did play great. He did call a great game there at the beginning. He just screwed up at the end. Oh, well. That wraps up pretty much the podcast this week. Now, I'm going to try to get the new one out Friday. It's going to be a preview. I know I didn't do it last week because I was super busy. But I'm going to get it, for sure, I'm going to get it Friday. I'm going to also look at changing the name. The name is going to be called Unsportsmanlike Conduct, Unfiltered Takes. That's what that's going to be called. So look for that. Thank you for listening, and you guys have a great day.